Hi, I'm John and welcome to the Jigsaw Puzzler. Today's episode is about this magnificent 1,000 piece puzzle from Clementoni, art puzzle and image of Edvard Munch's The Scream. Very famous painting. I'm sure it's instantly recognisable to most people. It's been parodied and copied and cliched ever since its creation, and it's just known and loved the world over. This puzzle is one of the museum collection series that Clementoni have produced. I have several puzzles from that series. I have Clementoni Sistine Chapel, which I've done an episode previously. I have the Great Wave of Hanagawa, which I'm yet to do. And I've got there, I have a 2,000 piece puzzle of Van Gogh's The Starry Night, which is quite a challenging and difficult puzzle. Right, for The Scream, well, I bought this puzzle secondhand in an op shop, and there are 3 pieces missing. I'm a little disappointed about that. However, being for an op shop, you have to take it as they come. So 3 pieces missing, oh well. Now, I'll take you around the tour of the image, just so that we're familiar with what it is we're looking at. We have this figure at the front here in the classic Scream pose, screaming. It's quite dark browns, blacks, browny reds, and a sort of almost skull-like shaped face. Standing on a bridge, 2 fairly indistinct figures behind this person. Timber bridge, you can see the planks, and railing with 3 rails. There's a river underneath here. There's a bulge of land over here. There's the land on the other side of the river. Well, no, sorry, there's a harbour actually, I think it must be, because there are 2 boats, fairly indistinct, but they're there. 2 boats, and then the land beyond, and this blazing orange, red and yellow sky with tinges of blue and white in it as well, and some browny colours at the top. All very artistic. A lot of people find art pictures quite challenging to do as a jigsaw puzzle. I do too. I quite enjoy them. I've got quite a few, but I do find them a challenge because you get areas where you get lots and lots of the same or very similar sorts of things, and this puzzle is no exception. I bought it because it was only a few dollars at the op shop, and I thought, well, I will give that a go. But to be honest, I've been putting it off because something in me was telling me that, do I really need to do another really challenging jigsaw puzzle right now? I've done a couple recently which have been very challenging. The Rosetta Stone in particular, very challenging puzzle. But I thought, well, I want to do it at some point. I didn't buy it just to store it. So I thought, well, bite the bullet, let's go and try this one. So I did. Pulled it out of the box, and of course I tipped the pieces into my sorting trays, and the first thing I did was take out all of the edge pieces. I normally do that, line them all up here so that I can create the edge. So the edge came together quite well. One of the missing pieces is an edge piece, so obviously I got the rest of it together. And then I thought, well, the easiest part of the puzzle to do has surely got to be these brilliant red stripes up here in the sky. I think I was right. I pulled out as many of the red pieces as I could, and then just started piecing them together, and to be honest, they went together a lot more easily than I expected. The puzzle is ribbon cut, but the pieces are not the same. They're not uniform. There's different piece shapes, which are repeated across the puzzle, but they have slightly different tab sizes and angles on the sides and things like that. They're not uniform puzzle pieces, so you can tell straight away if something fits or it doesn't. And to be honest, the colours were actually reasonably easy to match up. The whole sky section, red, orange, yellow, brown, and the little blue bits, all came together in one sitting. I had the whole puzzle down to about here done and complete in my first sitting. I was really surprised by that. I expected to be slogging away at this piece by piece and having a really challenging time. When we zoom in on an artwork like this, and the puzzle is bigger than the original artwork, you do get those brush strokes which make the edges of things indistinct and blurry, and so that's just how the artwork is. It's obviously been photographed in a high enough resolution to actually make it doable as a puzzle, but the artwork, the nature of the artwork with the brush strokes does mean that one thing blends into the next in places. So I thought this was going to be a real challenge, but the sky came together pretty well. So once I'd done that, I knew that I could pick out the yellowy sections, yellow and blue sections here in the middle. And if you look closely, you can actually follow quite a few lines of brushstroke across the painting. For example, on this harbour section, there are stripes of a golden yellow colour interspersed with the grey blue all the way down this whole section. So you can piece together the lines and put that part of the puzzle together quite easily. Similarly, up here in the sky, you've got these white lines that go through here. You've got these very distinct but small patches of grey and greeny blue. They're not hard to pull out. And then there's sort of a wash of brown in some stripy areas here. And of course, they are not terribly hard to pull out either. And before you know it, you've got most of that section together. There are multiple shades of red. There's some very deep reds up the top here and to the side, but there's some lighter reds blending into orange across the rest of it. So there are enough shades of colour that you can tell fairly readily where a piece is going to go. This puzzle did take me some hours to do, quite a few hours to do, but I was finding that I could just pick up a piece and I would put it in, and every single time it caught me by surprise because I was expecting in my head that this puzzle was going to take a long time. So I did the sky, did the harbour, and then I pulled out these sort of bluey grey, very roughly drawn, painted sections to show I'm presuming that it's water underneath, but I'm not so sure now, given that that's water. Anyway, whatever this is underneath the bridge, they are quite a distinct colour and texture. So I pulled those out, and of course the other thing is we have these three very strong diagonal lines of the railings. Any piece with a diagonal line that was very distinctly a line was quite, I made piles of those and ended up putting the bridges together. And of course the top railing in this part of the bridge meets this sort of chalky blue painted section here. And so I ended up having a defined outline for part of this section in the middle here. The face and the hands have similar tonings to some of these other areas, but it is a little bit different. I did get some of them mixed up, put in the wrong piles, but once I got them out, I was able to start piecing the face together, and it became its own entity, and after a while I could put it in place and start to connect it up with some other things. This section here, over here, this piece of land with the green stripes and the golden brown and some blue stripes in there as well, I expected that actually to be the hardest part. It was not. If you look closely at the detail, you'll see that there are green stripes, dark and mid-green stripes. It is the only part of the puzzle with green stripes on it. So any piece that you pull out with a green stripe on it, I just pulled the striped parts and ended up constructing probably 2/3 of that section without even having to, wonder whether the pieces that I had fit or not. So that turned out to be a lot easier than I imagined. On the deck of the bridge here, again, I thought this was going to be quite challenging. There are 3 purple stripes, quite distinctly, probably to define or to show the timber boards, and one white stripe here. And so I just pulled out all the pieces with the purple stripe on them, the brown background with the purple stripe, and then just moved them around backwards and forwards. I could put the pieces in the right direction because I knew which way the lines went, and then I could start to piece those together. And when I had those in, I really only had this corner here, the middle part of the bridge to put together, and the body of the figure. This corner down here, a little bit indistinct, but very bright railings. So there's only a handful of pieces in between. So I really wasn't left with a lot that I had to go piece by piece. Most of that was the body of the figure. So this is a puzzle that is best done by looking at the details, by really paying attention to several things. Firstly, the colours, then the textures, then the lines, the way the lines appear on the pieces, and also the shape and size of the tabs. Some of the pieces, let me see if I can find an example, some of the pieces like this one have got really tiny tabs, very, very small. And others, if I can find one quickly, have quite big ones. There we go, right there, like this. So the tabs vary enormously in size, and of course there are different shaped tabs. There are some that look like they're skewed, some that look like they're flat on top, more blocky and square. So it was not a uniform cut by any means, and that was enormously helpful. You could tell more quickly whether you had a possible correct piece simply by the size of the tabs and the hole that you were trying to fit together. This was actually a reasonably enjoyable puzzle, and I think I would do it again. Obviously disappointed about the 3 missing pieces, but there you have it as an op shop puzzle. It was a pretty good one. If I get the chance to get a replacement for it that is complete, I would probably buy that from an op shop again so that I've got the whole puzzle. Clementoni's 1000-piece puzzle of the screen. Thumbs up from me. It was quite an enjoyable puzzle and not nearly as difficult as I thought it was going to be. Alright, if you could click like and subscribe, leave your comments below. Have you done this puzzle? Have you done another art puzzle like this that has exceeded your expectations? Have you done some that you thought were going to be difficult, but turned out to be actually quite alright? Leave your comments below and let's have the time lapse, and thank you for watching.